Nothing strengthens power like silence. Leonardo da Vinci. Silence can be a protective cloak, but it can also be invisible chains that bind a person. When power is cloaked in silence, it is like a dormant volcano, calm on the outside, but seething with latent strength within. That silence is not emptiness. It is another form of expressing authority, the power to keep secrets, the power to be heard without speaking. Yet, silence is also a test of courage. For sometimes, the truly strong are not those who speak much, but those who know when to stay silent and when to speak. Amid the noise of the world, silence carries the beauty of self-control, of a steadfast inner world, of someone who commands respect without needing to prove anything. True power needs no voice, only understanding like the moonlight, never loud, yet bright enough to guide the night sky. Ultimately, silence only strengthens power when it rests on the foundation of wisdom and compassion. For if it is merely the silence of fear or indifference, that power will soon crumble like sand scattered by the wind. Only when silence is used to listen, to understand, to act at the right moment, that is the eternal strength of those who master themselves and their lives. The hardest thing in life is to truly understand oneself. Understanding oneself is a long and challenging journey where each step requires peeling back masks, facing fears, desires, and sometimes uncomfortable truths. In the rush of life, it's easy to get caught up in roles: the dutiful child, the excellent employee, the good friend, the ideal lover, until we forget who we truly are. Understanding oneself is not just knowing what we like or dislike, but recognizing our limits, weaknesses, and the deepest values within. It demands courage. Courage to accept our imperfect pieces and patience to piece them together into a more complete self each day. Only when we truly understand ourselves can we live authentically, unswayed by the world's judgments or gazes. That is when we stop comparing, stop seeking external validation, and start living true to the voice within. Understanding oneself may be the hardest journey, but it is also the most worthwhile, for at its end, we find no one else but the person we had once forgotten. The foundation of every nation is the education of its youth, Diogenes, for they are the green shoots, the future, the ones who will write the next chapter of a nation's story. The foundation of every nation is the education of its youth, is not just a statement, but an enduring truth of progress. Education does not only teach literacy, but also how to live, how to think, and how to be human. A generation well educated will know how to love, respect, create, and take responsibility. Conversely, if education is neglected, a nation is like a house built on sand, unsteady before the first winds of time. Nurturing the youth is sowing the seeds of faith, knowledge, and character for tomorrow. Each young person educated in an inspiring environment with ignited aspirations and nurtured compassion, that is when a nation grows, not in statistics, but in human values. A truly great nation is not one with the most wealth, but one where people are the most enlightened. Educating the youth is sowing the seeds for the future, the light that guides a nation, the bridge between yesterday and tomorrow. For when young minds are shaped with knowledge and love, a nation's future will surely be written in pride. It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it. Epictetus. What distinguishes those who fall from those who rise is not the event, but their response to it. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it. A seemingly simple phrase, yet it holds a profound philosophy of inner strength and mastery of life. For no one can choose what happens to them, but everyone can choose their attitude in facing it. The pessimist sees failure as an end, while the optimist sees it as the start of a lesson. When you change how you react, you change the course of your life. A storm may sink a fragile boat, but for a skilled sailor, it's a perfect training ground to steer through the waves. Your reaction is a mirror of your resilience. Calm amidst turmoil, composed amidst chaos. That is the mark of someone who knows no one controls circumstances, but everyone can control themselves. When we choose to react with calm, faith, and wisdom, we not only overcome adversity, but turn it into a springboard for growth. Ultimately, what defines a person's character is not what life brings, but how they walk forward after each stumble. For sometimes, it's your reaction that is the real great event shaping the path of your life. There is only one path to happiness. Stop worrying about things beyond the control of your will. Epictetus. We often worry about a past we cannot change or a future yet to arrive. We fret over others' words or outcomes we cannot influence. But worrying never makes life better. It only steals the peace of the present. It's like standing in the rain, struggling to keep your clothes dry. The more you resist, the more exhausted you become. Only when you accept that rain is rain can you smile, walk forward, and realize getting wet isn't so bad. Happiness isn't when everything goes smoothly, but when your heart is calm enough to accept what cannot be changed. When we stop worrying, we start listening to life more gently. Each moment becomes a gift, no longer a burden of what should have been. The greatest freedom in life is freedom from things we cannot control. When we are no longer bound by fear and anxiety, happiness arrives simple as a breath, gentle as the morning sun after a stormy night. Great results require great ambition. Heraclitus. Those with ambition do not fear failure, for they know failure is temporary, but giving up is forever. Ambition drives people to dream what others deem impossible, to attempt what no one has dared. From great dreams, they learn to go farther, endure longer, and stand stronger. Without ambition, people settle for enough. With ambition, they reach for more than enough, where limits are shattered and true potential awakens. Look around. Every great figure began with a grand dream, sometimes mocked, sometimes doubted, yet they pressed on, for they knew great results don't come to those who wait, but to those who dare to desire. Ambition is the compass guiding us through the darkness of doubt, the strength that lifts us after every fall, the light illuminating the path to great heights. Life will give you exactly what you dare to dream and act upon. So, if you want to achieve great results, start with an ambition bold enough to make your heart tremble at the thought of it. A patient teacher can accomplish anything else. George Savile. Education is not just about imparting knowledge, but guiding souls. In that journey, patience is the key that unlocks every door. A student may be slow to learn, a child may be stubborn, but with a teacher's patience, those souls are shaped, their faith ignited, and their hidden potential awakened. For only with patience does a teacher give students the time to grow, to err, to understand, and to find their own light. A patient teacher never rushes for results, never demands instant success, for they believe every seed needs time to sprout. They teach with heart, with faith that every child is a flower, differing only in the season of their bloom. That patience creates miracles, turning the impossible into possible. In this ever-changing world, perhaps the most enduring strength is patience and love. A teacher with those two qualities can truly achieve anything else, not just teaching knowledge, but how to live, how to love life, and how to believe in oneself. Hope is a good breakfast, but a poor dinner. Francis Bacon. Hope at dawn is the sunrise of the soul. It makes us believe today can be better than yesterday. It's the drive that pushes us out of our comfort zones, to dare, to reach for dreams. But if we only live on hope, without action, by dusk, that hope becomes a cold dinner, leaving us with nothing but what ifs. Life doesn't nurture those who merely hope. It rewards those who act on their hopes. A breakfast of hope fuels a day of faith, but the dinner of success comes only after a day of effort. Hope without action is an illusion. Action without hope is meaningless. Only when both walk hand in hand does life find its true value. Keep hope like a flame at the start of the day, warm, radiant, urging you forward. Don't let it flicker like a candle in the night, only bright enough to show what you've missed. Those who don't believe in miracles are not realists. David Ben-Gurion. Life's reality is not measured only by numbers or logic. It's woven from faith, hope, and wonders that reason sometimes cannot explain. A child's smile after tears, a seed sprouting in a desert, or a person rising after 1,000 falls. Aren't these miracles? A realist isn't rigid before life, but faces reality while keeping a spark of faith alive in their heart. They know miracles don't come on their own. They're created through unwavering belief and effort. Believing in miracles doesn't mean waiting for wonders. It means trusting you can create them. The truest realism balances reason and faith, action and dreams. For without belief in miracles, we lose the drive to move forward, to strive, to believe tomorrow can differ from today. And then, life ceases to be a wondrous journey, becoming merely a string of mundane days. No sight is sadder than a young person filled with pessimism. Mark Twain. Youth is a flame. That flame can burn brightly with aspiration or fade in doubt. Pessimism in youth is like a spring sky without sun, lifeless, devoid of hope's hue. For youth, even in poverty or failure, is a time to believe that with effort, tomorrow will be better than today. When that faith is lost, doors seem to close, and one ages before their time. The world needs young people who dare to dream, act, and believe in goodness, for they are the breath of the future, the ones who paint humanity's canvas. A pessimistic youth not only loses themselves, but also the chance to see how beautiful life can be when hope triumphs over despair. Every great thing begins with a small belief. No matter how many times life disappoints, keep a spark in your heart, even a tiny one, for it will guide you out of darkness. Youth doesn't need perfection, only the refusal to be pessimistic, for as long as you believe, there's a path forward. The risk of a bad decision is better than the fear of indecision. Maimonides. A bad decision may hurt, may make us stumble, but from it, we learn the most valuable lessons, those of experience and growth. Indecision, like invisible chains, traps us in a safe zone, watching opportunities pass by without daring to reach out. Fear delays us, and delay slowly kills the ambition within. Those who dare to decide, even if wrong, live proactively. They face consequences with courage, mistakes with bravery. Meanwhile, those who fear risk let their lives be governed by what-ifs. Nothing is more terrifying than looking back and realizing, I didn't dare to do anything. In truth, every choice is a step toward growth. Daring to decide is daring to live authentically, for only by moving forward do we discover which path is right. And sometimes, It's the bad decisions that open new doors, where we discover the value of courage. Don't fear mistakes. Fear keeps you stuck. Mistakes take you farther than you imagine. Life doesn't reward the hesitant, but smiles on those who dare to step forward, even trembling with their first step. Knowing you don't know is humility. Thinking you know what you don't is a disease. True intelligence isn't knowing everything, but recognizing your own limits. When you know you don't know, you open the door to learning and to nourishing wisdom. That is the root of progress. But when you think you know it all, that your knowledge is the only truth, you unknowingly close every door to growth. Arrogance in knowledge is the darkness of the soul. It blinds us amidst light. Humility lets us learn from everyone, from teachers, friends, even adversaries. But delusion traps us in an illusion, believing we stand at the peak while actually sliding downhill. One who knows they don't know is courageous, brave to admit flaws, brave to learn. In contrast, one who thinks they know is weak, fearing the truth of their insufficiency. True knowledge comes not from boasting, but from silence and listening. For only the humble have the wisdom to keep learning, while the deluded halt on a journey that never ends. Always keep a space in your heart for learning. For those who know they don't know are the ones truly knowing. In the end, they won't ask what you know, but what you've done. Jean de Gerson. Knowing much is never enough. For knowledge without action is a buried treasure, illuminating no one. This world wasn't built by those who only speak of dreams, but by those who dare to act on them. You can read 100 books, hear 1,000 speeches, but without action, it's all just passing wind. Action is the measure of value. It proves you have the courage to turn knowing into doing. For in reality, anyone can talk of success, but only those who act truly touch it. Each step, however small, is worth more than 100 thoughts never begun. In the end, life doesn't recall how much you understood, but what you created, the deeds done, the people helped, the marks left behind. Action is the truest language of wisdom, the living proof that you've lived not just to know, but to contribute and transform. Don't just ask yourself, what do I know? But what have I done with what I know? For it's action, not words, that echoes after we pass through this life. Life is simple, but we insist on making it complicated. We want more, expect more, compare more. We chase fame, wealth, status, forgetting that happiness lies in the smallest things. A warm meal, a heartfelt conversation, or a moment of being truly yourself. These are what give life meaning. But as we grow, we lose that simplicity, swept into a whirlwind of must have, must be better, must outdo others. Complexity doesn't come from life, but from a mind that never rests. When we learn to pause, to let go of the unnecessary, life returns to its true form, light, clear, and fulfilling. Life doesn't demand perfection, only that we feel it. No need to understand everything, just cherish what we have. For living simply isn't lack, it's richness of the soul. And sometimes, happiness begins with one simple act, stopping the urge to complicate everything. It takes more wisdom to benefit from good advice than to give it. Churton Collins. Giving advice requires knowledge and experience, but receiving it demands humility, listening, and self-reflection. Many easily tell others what to do, but struggle to accept feedback themselves. For taking advice isn't just hearing, it's the courage to see your flaws, mistakes, and limits. True wisdom lies not in how much you know, but in choosing what's worth applying. Good advice in careless hands may be meaningless, but in wise hands, it becomes a lantern lighting the path ahead. The wise don't speak much, but know when to be silent and listen. For only with an open heart can the mind receive, and only then can action transform. Ultimately, wisdom shines not through words, but through how we apply what we've learned. Advice is just a seed. Understanding and action are the soil that make it bloom. Our lives always reflect the results of our dominant thoughts, Søren Kierkegaard. If our minds are filled with worry, our lives will brim with fear. If we dwell on hope, we'll see opportunities even in adversity. Each thought is a seed, and life is simply the field where we sow. Sow positivity, reap peace. Sow negativity, reap chaos. Those who master their thoughts master their destiny. For thoughts shape emotions. Emotions guide actions, and actions form results. Everything we live today stems from what we thought yesterday. To change your life, start by changing the operating system of your mind. Think of goodness. Believe in possibilities. Envision the best version of yourself. Life won't disappoint those who dare to dream and keep their minds clear and positive. For thought is the architect of fate, and life is simply the structure built from what we think. Ultimately, it's not the years in our life that matter, but the life in our years. Abraham Lincoln. Life isn't measured by the days we breathe, but by the moments that make us feel truly alive. A sincere embrace, a moment of overcoming fear, a nameless act of kindness, all make a life complete. For life's quality is built from love, kindness, passion, and gratitude. Many chase years worrying about wealth, success, recognition, forgetting to savor the journey itself. They forget each day is a chance to feel, to love, to give. Only when we cherish each moment do we truly live, not merely exist. In the end, what lingers isn't how long we lived, but how we lived. A short life full of love is worth more than 100 years of cold emptiness. Live deeply with heart, as if today is the most beautiful day. For life isn't in the years, it's in each meaningful breath. Nothing harms creativity more than the fury of inspiration. Umberto Eco. Many think creativity springs from surging emotions, from moments of explosive ideas. But in truth, overwhelming inspiration can cloud clarity, leading to rushed writing, sloppy work, or missing subtle details only calm can reveal. True creativity is like a flame. It must be nurtured with persistence, not consumed by fleeting passion. The fury of inspiration makes artists forget the process, rushing toward results. But true art isn't born in impulsiveness, but in the harmony of passion and control. For only by listening to the rhythm of emotions, without being swayed, can we master the creative energy within. When inspiration strikes, don't chase it like a dreamer in a trance. Let it settle, sink in, then transform it into creation with depth. For clarity is the light guiding art, while inspiration is but a breeze, beautiful but fleeting. Success is achieving what you desire. Happiness is enjoying what you have. Emerson. Success is reaching forward, daring to dream, act, and break limits to achieve goals. It's a journey of will and aspiration, but happiness is pausing to see what you've gained, to feel the simple joy of the small things around you. Success drives you forward. Happiness ensures you don't lose yourself along the way. The balance between the two is the secret to a fulfilled life. Chasing only success risks forgetting the joy of living. Lingering only in enjoyment halts growth. Only by striving and being grateful does life find true meaning. For success is having what you want, but happiness is wanting what you have. The truly rich aren't those who own the most, but those who cherish the most. The heart is a treasure that cannot be sold or bought, only given. Gustave Flaubert. No money can buy sincerity, and no power can force another's heart unless given freely. The heart finds meaning only when it loves, shares, and gives without expecting return. For the value of emotion lies not in possession, but in giving. When we open our hearts, we enrich not only others, but ourselves. A kind word, a generous act, a timely hand held all are ways to give your heart. And the miracle is, the more you give, the fuller, warmer, and stronger your heart becomes. The heart isn't a commodity, but a light, nourishing character and connecting humanity. It doesn't need to be bought, only shared. It doesn't need to be possessed, only felt. For the greatest wealth lies not in wallets, but in hearts that love. And those who give are living the most meaningful lives. If we magnified our joys as we do our sorrows, our problems would lose their weight. Anatole France. In truth, happiness is always present. We just often overlook it. A ray of morning sun, a hot cup of coffee, or a loved one's smile, small, yet enough to warm the heart. If we cherished and magnified those joys, sorrows would find no room to dominate our minds. Sorrows grow large when dwelt upon endlessly. Joys, when overlooked, fade into shadow. But we have the power to choose what grows in our souls. Choose to amplify light, not nurture darkness. Life doesn't lack challenges, but it's never short of reasons to smile. When we focus on joy over pain, we don't deny difficulties, but refuse to let them rule our hearts. For joy, however small, holds a healing power greater than we imagine. And when we amplify happiness, sorrows shrink light as a breeze, fleeting as dew. Death, as the end of time, only frightens those who don't know how to fill the time given to live. Viktor Frankl. Those who savor each moment, who love, give, and make every day meaningful, face death with calm, for they know their time was filled with meaning, memories, and value. But those who waste time in regret, hesitation, or waiting for someday to truly live, they tremble at the end. Time is a gift, not to be stored, but to be used. Each day is a blank page to write your own story. If written fully, even a short story is complete, profound, and memorable. Death isn't fearsome if you've lived fully. It's merely the final note of a melody played to its fullest. The true fear isn't death, but letting time slip by without truly living. Instead of fearing death, learn to live each day to its fullest. When time is filled with experience and love, fear fades, replaced by deep peace in the soul. Modern science has yet to create a sedative as effective as a few kind words. Sigmund Freud. A gentle word can soothe wounds that time or medicine cannot touch. In moments of weakness, a sincere, "It's okay," can be stronger than 1,000 doses of sedatives. Kind words not only comfort the listener, but heal the speaker. For kindness ripples like a warm circle in the human soul. Science may help us live longer, but kindness helps us live better. A civilized society isn't measured only by technological progress, but by how people treat each other with empathy, with words that uplift rather than wound. Sometimes, just a heartfelt word, an encouraging phrase, or a sympathetic smile makes the world easier to breathe, lighter to bear. For kindness is the only spiritual medicine, with no side effects, growing stronger the more it's given. Man is the measure of all things. Protagoras. All things exist objectively, but humans give them meaning. A stone may be lifeless, but when touched by human hands, it can become a work of art. A moment may pass naturally, but when felt by a human, it turns into memory, into emotion. The world only truly lives when humans perceive and reflect upon it. This saying also underscores that humans are not just observers, but creators. We measure value, name phenomena, define beauty, right and wrong, all stemming from human consciousness. But it's also a reminder. If humans are the measure of all things, then morality, knowledge, and humanity must measure humans. A beautiful or chaotic world depends not on things, but on how humans perceive and act. When our measure is compassion, the world warms. When it's selfishness, all things grow cold. Thus, man is the measure of all things is not just a claim of power, but a call to responsibility. We measure the world and must measure ourselves by wisdom, by compassion, and by humility before the infinite universe.